Hi, everybody. Welcome back. This is episode 3 of Grief Talks with Noelle. And I just want to say once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for all of the warm, amazing feedback I've been receiving in response to the launch of this YouTube channel. The first 2 videos, you guys have just been watching them and sharing them and commenting and inboxing me and texting me and doing all kinds of things just to show your support. And I really hope that these videos have been impactful for those of you that are out there listening and watching. I just want to help someone. That's it. Unfortunately, I know the pain of grief firsthand, and I can attest to the fact that this is the hardest thing that anyone will ever have to deal with in life. Loss is the hardest thing that anyone should ever have to deal with in life, and talking about how you feel is the first step towards beginning to heal. So you gotta explain and express your feelings if you ever have any hope of healing. Otherwise, it's going to just be corrosive inside of you, and it will have a detrimental impact, not just on your emotional health, but eventually your physical health as well, I believe. I'm not a doctor, nothing like that, just someone who knows it firsthand, and I want to help you as I'm helping myself as we journey through this thing together. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Mwah. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Okay, so the first couple episodes have had kind of a thematic approach, and only because, literally because those are the days they've fallen on. The first episode was my first day, and I had to begin at my beginning, and it was also the day before the year anniversary of my father's passing. And then last week was Christmas Day, so we talked about Christmas, and today is New Year's Day. Happy New Year, one and all. 2020, we're here, we made it. And so today's title is All Things New. All Things New. My dad, I mentioned that he was a wonderful preacher, and he was the greatest, most tremendous preacher ever. I might be a little biased, but if you ask anybody what was Pastor Kevin D. Ginyard Sr. like as a preacher, they'll probably say the same thing. So, and he preached for over 40 years, and one of his sermons that I love dearly is entitled All Things New. So today's title is to pay homage to my beloved father, All Things New. And it's New Year's Day, so it's befitting. Okay, so here we go. Someone asked me a few weeks ago, what is my definition of grief? And I said, I feel that grief is the excruciatingly painful process of adjusting to loss. So you had a plan for your life. You had an ideal blueprint of how you wanted things to go, how you wanted things to be, dreams that you had, goals that you had, ambitions that you wanted to take on and see come to fulfillment. And undoubtedly, your loved one was a central component of this plan. You wanted them to be there. You wanted them to help you. You wanted them to, whatever, play a major function in this plan. Even in your day-to-day routine, they were a central component of your life. And now they're not there anymore. And so everything is messed up. Everything is haywire. Everything is out of whack. And now you're going through this painful, often asphyxiating process of trying to rebuild your life without this central component who you loved with all your heart. That is grief to me. The rewiring, the restructuring, the reconfiguring of your life. Every single thing is new. All things new. Everything has changed because your loved one is gone. Especially if they were a part of your day-to-day life, then you really have to figure things out. If your loved one was the one responsible for picking up your children from daycare, or if your loved one was the one that you called when you needed to drive home, you had a long commute from work, and you would always talk to them on the way home. Just things like that will really kind of mess you up as you're trying to go through this process. Like I said, it's the painful process of adjusting to life without them. It's horrible. It is. But I'm here to help you, and you're helping me as we try to journey through this. So everything is different. Personally, I hate Sunday nights now. Sunday night is garbage night at my house, and my father was responsible for doing the garbage. I could not touch the garbage. Neither my mother nor myself, we were forbidden to touch the garbage. And even on Monday afternoon, after the garbage had already been emptied and the sanitation workers placed the cans back in front of the house, I could not move the garbage can from the front of the house to the back of the house. No, I was not allowed to touch those things because that is what he did. And he had so many other functions. He was the head of our household, the head of responsible for, I'm not going to go there, but he was everything. Our leader, my pastor. And now he's gone. So every single thing is different when you lose a loved one. Everything changes. All things are new. So you've got to figure out how to rewire that stuff, how to reconfigure it, how to get through life now without them. And that's when you can really rely on the strength of those people that say, if you need anything, let me know. Don't hesitate to call me. That's when you can really rely on the strength of those people and really like make them put their money where their mouth is and make them show up for you. Ask them to help you. Don't try to do it all by yourself. Ask for help because everything is new. All things are new and it's the hardest thing ever. But if you ask for help and if you allow people to support you, you'll get through it. All the newness of the new normal, all the changes, you'll get through it if you let people help you. The newness of it can be handled over time. So as I mentioned, my dad who was a tremendous preacher. His sermon, All Things New, is where the title of this episode comes from today. And in that sermon, I just found my notes for it the other day. I knew I wanted to incorporate the sermon into this grief talk somehow, and I wasn't quite sure how. So I just started looking at my notes and here's what I came up with. He gave us 5 things that new represents. It's New Year's Day. We're talking about the new normal, the pain of the newness. And my dad gave us 5 things that new represents. And 4 of these 5 things didn't quite click with me because I was like, I can't figure out how to connect this with what I'm talking about with grief. It's not making sense. So here are the 5 things. The first 4 don't work, but the 5th one, you'll see what I mean. The first 4, new represents better. No, that can't be right because this is certainly not better. My life is so much worse than it was before. That can't work. New represents perfection. No, things are certainly not perfect right now. New represents longevity. No, that doesn't work either. I wish I had a longer time with my loved one. No, that's not good either. New represents, number 4, a fresh start. No, that doesn't work either. So I was really racking my brain, like, how am I going to put this together? I knew I wanted to use the sermon as kind of a catapult for this grief talk, and I wasn't sure how to do it until I got to the 5th one. And I promise you, I was like shaking earlier today as I made the realization for the 5th one. The 5th thing that my father said that new represents is abundance. Abundance. And he used the analogy of a 2-liter Pepsi bottle. You go to the store, you buy a 2-liter Pepsi bottle. He loved Pepsi. You buy a 2-liter Pepsi bottle and you look at that bottle and you expect it to be full. You expect abundance because it's brand new. It better not be half empty. It better not be open. It better not be half consumed or even a quarter consumed because it's supposed to be brand new. It's supposed to be full. It's supposed to be abundant. So new doesn't necessarily have to mean empty. This process is new for you. It's new for me. Doesn't matter where you are in the process. You're still going to find new things. Even if you're 20 years in the process of grief, you're still going to find new things. So in this new phase of our lives, even though it's painful, even though it's horrible to deal with, even though sometimes we feel like we cannot breathe, new does not have to mean empty. New can, if you let it, represent abundance. You can still live a full life. You can still have an abundant life. And truth be told, your loved one would want you to live abundantly and to enjoy your life as best you can and to live fully. Don't be half empty. Don't look at things half empty. When you get to the point, I pray that you get there, well, you'll be able to embrace your life. I'm not even there yet, but I pray that we'll get there together. Somehow we'll get to the point where we can all embrace our lives fully and live abundantly. Not looking at experiences and only expecting to receive half, but looking at experiences, looking at this new year and expecting to receive abundance, expecting to receive all of it, because new does not mean empty. It does not mean half filled. It does not mean half fulfilled. It does not mean half accomplished. It means abundant. And so all things are new, yes. All things are uncomfortable, yes. All things are painful, yes. But as you go on, all things can also be abundant. And it's hard to imagine that, because I promise you, I cannot imagine my life being abundant without my father. There's so many things that I want him to still see, and so many things that I realize that he won't be able to see. But I know without the shadow of a doubt that Pastor Kevin D. Ginyard Sr. would want his baby girl to live abundantly. And if you're honest with yourself, your loved one would want the same thing for you. All things new, all things abundant. Happy New Year, my darlings. Thank you so much for listening and watching. And I hope that you were inspired and motivated and touched by something that I said today. Grief is nothing to be ashamed of, and you should not be embarrassed about talking about how you feel. You've got to feel if you're going to heal. So I hope that you'll join me again next week, and that you're looking forward to seeing the video that will be posted next Wednesday. And let's keep talking. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.